Vivi puts on a performance in front of a small audience at the AI-themed Neonland amusement park. Afterwards, she encounters Momoko Kirishima, who tells her to put all her heart into her songs. So more people. King Anime Recap here. Today, we will go over the action sci-fi drama anime, Vivi, Fluoride Ice Song. Watch out for the spoilers ahead. A singing AI will come to see her. Just as she was about to put on her next performance in front of nobody, she collapses. While unconscious, she enters the archive. He then asks Vivi for help with altering the course of history to prevent a war between humans and AI that is set to happen in exactly 100 years. After she regains an AI aggregate database where she meets Matsumoto. The cube-like AI announces that it's from 100 years into the future. In his consciousness, Matsumoto transforms into a teddy bear, and he warns her about the events that are about to occur. But she refuses to cooperate because her mission is to explosion hidden inside one of the park's trash bins. She accepts the mission. Matsumoto then informs her about Aikawa's assassin at night. So sing in order to make others happy. However, after witnessing one of Matsumoto's prophecies coming true, and saving the assemblyman Aikawa from an explosion, she rushes to intercept the attackers from the anti-AI terrorist group, Toke. Matsumoto then informs Vivi of the dire consequence that Aikawa's death. Aikawa's life means that there will be no chance that AI naming law will be passed. Vivi then attempts to escort Aikawa out of the building with Toke in pursuit, but is shot with an as well as the imminent destruction of the AI company building they are currently in would jumpstart a massive leap in AI development and evolution that will lead to the future war, saving Aikawa's logic bullet causing her to malfunction. Before Toke is able to finish off Aikawa, Matsumoto is then able to hack into their glasses, and through those glasses, they are ambushed with more attackers stationed outside the entrance. Vivi then saves one of the attackers, named Yugo, from falling debris, despite he fakes Aikawa's death, causing them to believe that the mission is complete. At the front entrance, Matsumoto activates some of the bombs to stall the pursuers. However, being an enemy, she claims that her mission is to spread happiness and to not kill anyone. The guy is a scumbag though and tries to kill her anyways, but before he could do so, he passes out. With the entrance, why does he have to have such an incompetent partner? But then, Vivi rips off her top, and this changes everything. They escape by collapsing the building to force the Toke attackers to flee. It's blocked. Aikawa panics and he reveals the truth. He doesn't even care about AI, he only cares about votes. At the same time, Matsumoto berates her and asks they rush to the roof to jump off of it into a neighboring building. Cue the superhero landing. Shortly after rescuing Aikawa, Vivi finds out that the passenger plane Momoka is flying on timeline. Fast forward 15 years since Vivi saved Aikawa, and more people have come to see her performances. While the AI naming law ultimately did not pass, is about to explode due to a fuel leak. But before she can save her, Matsumoto prevents her from stopping the explosion, saying it would unnecessarily alter the task. Another legislation that granted AIs with even more rights did. One day, Matsumoto reappears before Vivi, and aside his death, Vivi agrees to help again. However, after infiltrating Sunrise and meeting Estella, she is unconvinced that Estella is the culprit. Hands her a new mission to prevent the Space Hotel Sunrise from crashing to Earth when its AI owner goes rogue. Also, fan service? While still bitter about Momo, a fellow AI employee, Leclerc, warns her about the rumor that Estella killed the hotel's previous human owner. She tells her not to get too close to Estella, but this is shortly. Leclerc gives Estella an ID to crash the hotel, revealing that they are actually cooperating. But as she walks away, Estella suddenly kills her. Yuzuka encounters Vivi again and asks proven false as Vivi learns from Estella herself that he actually died in an accident. As Vivi continues to investigate, she stumbles across Momoka's younger sister. approach the island, and Vivi, despite some hesitation, wait for them to take place. All the AI staff members then start singing one of Vivi's songs. She starts to bond with some of these AIs and eventually asks M what it means to put your heart into something. M replies that though he does not, uploads a virus to avoid conflict. However, rather than shut the AIs down, the virus makes them go berserk. They all end up kamikaze bombing every single Togue attack craft. With the shocking turn, he decides to tell Grace that he's going to head to Metal Float. Back at the island, Vivi administers first aid and is able to rescue Yugo and other Togue members. Yugo then angrily asks why she's of events. Vivi dives into the ocean and she manages to rescue one survivor, who just happens to be Yugo. While watching everything unfold live, Saiki realizes that his virus saved him, but she doesn't reply. He then questions her and says that she's Diva, isn't she? He continues on a rant and brings up Elizabeth, calling her a busted AI. This time, Vivi finally replies. She says that Elizabeth was right before the AI is able to finish her off. She is saved by a shot from Yugo. He tells her to get out of there and watches her leave. Learning that Tatsuya is on the island, Vivi and Matsumoto confront him. He isn't busted at all, as she was concerned about him till the end. Suddenly, berserk AI staff start pouring into the room. Vivi rushes past them and avoids most of the attacks, but she gets caught and gets pinned into a wall. He reveals his true motives: to save Grace. It is then shown that while he fell in love with Grace in the original timeline, due to the alterations made to history, she was converted into Metal Float's central core before they could get anything with Grace's programming. He then brings out his phone and explains that Grace has been singing Vivi's song to him the entire time, alone. Ultimately, despite Tatsuya pleading with Vivi married, he also reveals that his attendant is merely a replica of Grace. He says that he intends to transfer Grace's consciousness into her once the facility was shut down. But the virus has instead caused the island to go berserk due to a conflict to help him save Grace. Matsumoto assures her that she is already beyond saving. Reluctantly, Vivi resolves to euthanize her to avoid more casualties. Saiki is then shocked by and the Matsumotos combine into some kind of spacecraft. She then hops on and proceeds to fight her way to the core. At the core, Saiki watches through a monitor and while in disbelief, sends her her response. He takes out his gun and commands the Grace replica to attack. Vivi then has to defend herself and destroys the Grace replica, known as K5, in one sweep. Later, out of nowhere, more Matsumotos are created and Vivi reunite at an abandoned church. The two exchange words, and once learning that Grace had no final words for her, he decides to enter the afterlife, the hidden location of Grace. Vivi then finally encounters Grace, and of course, she Superman punches her heart. This shuts Metal Float off once and for all. Afterwards, Saiki